This is a video on a rhythm game called Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, and here is what its gameplay looks like. Sure, these intense anime fights seem like a far cry from the good old-fashioned clicking of circles on which we used to rely. So what's going on here? Well, I assure you, Sekiro is indeed a rhythm game, and in my humble yet subjectively objective opinion, Sekiro is one of the most rhythm games ever. This particular genre is now quite the developed one, with gameplay loops of all kinds in this current age. Whether you wish to roleplay as a strapped-up Valkyrie whose part-time job involves exterminating giant creepy crawlies, or prefer the colorful light show of insanity that is this dash of geometry, there always seems to be a rhythm game out there for anyone and everyone. Furthermore, due to the popularity of rhythm games, a wide variety of music can be found within the majority of titles, from your favorite Toho meme tracks to that one song designed to leave you in physical pain just 10 minutes into a session. Yet, despite the multitude of ways we can play to those plethora of beats, have you ever considered the fact that said beats aren't actually necessary to play? This is most definitely considered a form of heresy to everyone in the Osu game community, as well as the rhythm gods themselves. But, as far as I can tell, it's perfectly functional, and therefore just another way to play Osu if you really think about it. Take Osu jump maps for instance, where the difficulty mostly comes from aiming rather than consciously learning specific patterns to a song. In fact, you're basically playing a reskinned FPS aim trainer at this point. The thing is, if I continue a session of almost any rhythm game in this cursed way, well, to put it bluntly, it becomes pretty boring. Yet, I would like you to note the fact that things don't turn out this way because the gameplay itself is boring. It's because the gameplay by itself is boring. I think it's safe to say that we don't find joy in just clicking, sliding, or tapping things to a preordained set of instructions. Rather, the whole deal with rhythm games stemmed from that simple desire to tap in time along with something, whether it be a song you're listening to on Spotify or just the percussive ticking of your car's indicator lights. And when it comes to percussion, Sekiro blesses your ears with that in spades. Okay, we're pausing here for a moment, because you probably got the idea that Sekiro's gameplay involves a lot of loud metallic clangs. However, did you also hear that ticking sound while the fight was going on? Now that was a metronome, and it was playing at a constant 90 beats per minute. The sound of swords clashing against each other to a constant BPM. I don't know about you, but I'd like to think that's acceptable enough to be considered rhythm gameplay. More importantly, however, if I handed you the controls to duel this boss to completion yourself, would you accept? If you answered no, well, let's just say you'll be expecting a pleasant surprise in your mailbox sometime this evening as a punishment for lying. On the more likely chance you're now answering yes, we just blew our previously discussed rhythm game problem out of the water. It seems as if Sekiro's gameplay is indeed enticing enough for you to want to give it a go, despite the fact that there wasn't any music playing in the background. But in all seriousness, this is the type of experience you should try out at least once for yourself. Well, would you look at that? Even Parappa agrees. I don't want to mislead anyone into thinking that Sekiro's gameplay is always as smooth sailing as the example clip I showed you. In fact, a majority of the B-roll used in this video says otherwise, and it's clear that your enemies find more pleasure in trying to overwhelm you with barrages of relentless attacks, ones that seem to drastically change up the tempo of a fight at any given moment. And so, how exactly does one manage to even begin defending against all that? Well, just like in any form of high-level rhythm gameplay, it all comes down to trial and error. Practice and repetition isn't just one of the many ways we improve at rhythm games, it's the main way we improve at rhythm games, let alone any skill in general. And it just so happens that my two favorite ones have extremely powerful trial and error tools to help you on your grind. In Beat Saber, aka the other rhythm game where you swing swords with seemingly inhuman reactions, there's this lovely special modifier called No Fail Mode. As the name implies, when using it, you simply won't fail no matter how many notes you miss, meaning you can still complete a map when choking in circumstances that would normally end with you having to restart all over again. Learning a map this way is extremely effective when you're practicing with or without music, as the hit sounds will still play at their appropriate intervals whether you hit a slash or not, allowing you to, for instance, memorize trickier timings that trip you up on your first couple of tries, whilst also allowing you to familiarize yourself with the entire map at the same time. In my experience, learning to play the more difficult Beat Saber maps with this method has been much more fruitful and enjoyable than the typical way of going into maps blindly, losing all of my HP before even reaching the minute mark, and then restarting it all over again and again and again. So, you might now be wondering, what is Sekiro's training tool? Well, I would like to introduce you all to the wondrous, the amazing, the innovative block mechanic. That's it. No alternate difficulty levels to make taking damage more forgiving, nor a cheat or mechanic which allows you to slow down what's going on for even a brief moment of analyzing. Just hold down the key that you would normally tap for a deflect and eat up those multi-hit combos. Ingrain into your mind's eye the battle stance your enemy takes before watching and, more critically, listening carefully as Sekiro himself barely manages to defend against the rapid yet consistent singing of dull clangs and clashes. Then, once you feel ready and see the opportunity, take it. Every opponent in Sekiro has their own flurry rush rhythm, and it's up to you to harmonize yourself with them. I could try my best to make a fancy metaphor or simile for the way Sekiro's rhythm gameplay clicks for a player, but I'll leave that job to Jacob. He comes to the realization, after fighting his favorite boss Genichiro for the 27th time, that he really liked knowing exactly what was coming up next, and found that it felt amazing when you're able to respond perfectly to it all in time. For many of you watching this video, that might not just sound like you're playing a map you've practiced diligently in a rhythm game. To paraphrase Jacob himself, it's a lot like the experience of reading and familiarizing yourself with actual sheet music. On that note, I'd like to say thank you for sticking till the end of this one. You're still here listening to my ramblings, which I hope indicates the fact that you found this video essay somewhat interesting and that you didn't fall asleep at your monitor. If you are still awake, why not leave a comment with an idea for another weird topic I could talk about next time, or simply click the like button and subscribe, as the YouTubers say. For now though, this is literally all I wrote, so I suppose I'll catch you in the next one. Until then, take care.